how in so I have the few verses. So we're gonna start out with it. The first I like to thank for Pastor Yates for allowing compositing on in this episode. And we're gonna start out with Matthew chapter 13, verse 31 through 32. T. Not happy that excellent. Thanks so much for that. Seems like you for reaching the pastor wife over here. Who was here? Hello, I was from the normal. Here, maybe need you things. Already.
Granted.
I'll get it first. Before I read, I'm going to read it in King James first, and then I'll be reading in New Living Translation. That's what I like to use. So, Matthew 13, verse 31 through 32. Another parable put before them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is like to a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his field, which indeed is the least of all things. But when it is grown, it is the least, it is raised along earth, and becometh a tree, so that the birds of the air come and lives in the branches thereof. And then it was in the New Living Translation. Here is another illustration Jesus used. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed planted in a field. It is the smallest of all things, but it becomes the largest of garden plants. It grows into a tree, and birds come and make nests in its branches. Our next book is going to be Mark chapter 4, verse 30 through 32. Again, we're going to start with King James Version. And he said, whereunto shall we liken the kingdom of God? Or with what comparison shall we compare it? It is like a grain of mustard seed, which when it is sown in the earth, is less than all the seeds to be in the earth. But when it is sown, it groweth up and becometh greater than all the herbs, and shooteth out great branches, so that the fowl of the air may lodge unto the shadow of it. And then New Living Translation. Jesus said, how can I describe the kingdom of God? What story should I use to illustrate? It is like a mustard seed planted in the ground. It is the smallest of man's seed, but it becomes the largest of all garden plants. It grows long branches, and birds can make nests in its shade. We're going to go to Luke chapter 13, verse 18 through 19. Donald. King James Version. And said, then said he, unto what is the kingdom of God like? And whereunto shall I resemble it? It is like a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and cast into his garden, and it grew, and waxed a great tree, and the fowls of the air lodged in the branches of it. We're going to read that one also in a New Living Translation. When then Jesus said it. What is the kingdom of God like? But how can I illustrate it? It is like a tiny mustard seed that a man planted in a garden. It grows and becomes a tree, and the birds make nests in its branches. For they're afraid for us to avoid nobody further. Lord Jesus, thank you for letting us all be here safely, God. Please be with us and help us open our ears and our hearts to this lesson that you provided tonight, Lord. And please give me the confidence in Jesus' name and running it. Hallelujah. Matthew 13, 31 to 32, and Matthew 17, which I'm going to go back and read, and then I'll talk more about it later. Matthew 17 and 20. So we already read the first song, so let's read Matthew 17 and 20. And Jesus said unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, if ye had faith as a grain of a mustard seed, ye shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. Just to make sure, as for the New York area, none of the translation, as so quite old. Okay. You don't have enough faith. Jesus told them, I tell you the truth. If you had faith, even as small as a mustard seed, you could say to yourselves, move from here to there, and it would move. Nothing would be impossible. So the seas, we can see in both of these passages how a mustard seed can produce big change, both physically and metaphorically. A mustard seed has the diameter of 1 millimeter. It is so tiny, it's one of the smallest seeds on the plant. And yet it grows into a towering and outstretched tree. Not only does it bear fruit, but it deposits nutrients into the soil. It provides shade for the weary farmer and a nest place for birds. This tiny seed can cause a domino effect for change. And we see metaphorically that Jesus tells us that even the smallest colored faith can have the biggest impact. Even just a little bit of relief can move valleys. Both can be got this. I was writing a picture today because I, as well believe I had ever seen a mustard tree. I've only seen the seed. You could start this and pass it around to everybody to see how big the mustard tree grows. And while he has some rat around, I brought everyone mustard seeds to list.
Thank you.
I said, grant those. So go ahead and empty that for it. Please. Linda.
No. You sitting.
This is like the see you right. Forward.
I'm there and I had fun.
Bigger than you expected.
I was a little bit at that's why I didn't even see it.
You see about that. It can done.
Good.
And looks like. Yeah, he says it. You want to wash this. He does.
You got it.
And visitors to keep with you. Obu. Tonight, I don't plan on being too long, but if you can, so we're going to be discussing and learning about the mustard seed. Even the 59 days developed and do it. Jesus said that in parable in Matthew that the kingdom of heaven is like a grain of the mustard seed. So let's picture the lines, some powder making in heaven, and will look like just like go there. And then he erased it. It was gone. And he replaced it with a mustard seed, which I saw earlier in your little bottle, and as a picture in the solar core. It is very small.
Right.
Then in the parable, Jesus tells us that a man took that grain of mustard seed and sowed it into the steel. So it's teacher then, sowing seed out all the land. They said, which is indeed stronger than all seeds, but when it is grown, it is greater than the herbs and becomes a tree, so that the birds of the air can come lodge in its branches. So he saw heavy, almost deep, and then it got sower. So he sowed. I don't know if that's probably the word, but he sowed it. And Jesus says, the head is on the grain of mustard seed. We take that mustard seed and we stow it out there, and then pierce claws that are real great. And it says the radle to a huge tree, that the birds will come, make them nest in it, and they'll give shade rest to farmers and passerbyers. We can compare it to this, to our church, our congregation. We're a small congregation, but if we take our faith and start sowing those mustard seeds, we start inviting people to church, witnessing to them, knocking on all the doors, do all the little things, this church will grow into a big mustard tree, where people all times can kind of seek God, kindness, and love in a world that's full and hurt walking. And back in 1720, like a real of it right now, think about a brewery's manual to think a while about. Jesus said it, if ye have faith as a rainbow mustard seed, ye shall say to this mountain, we're going to get stayed on their place, and ye shall refuse, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. I think it's also important to add that at the end of the verse, it does say that it is possible by praying and fasting. I love this. It must be in the next verse, so sorry.
You just add next one.
Brandy. Listen to the next verse. He is important still that we had that it is possible by praying and fasting. So don't expect to go up to a and like, or we're a problem that low.
Right.
And you haven't done anything. When you haven't prayed and fasted for the anything to prepare for your little battle, it says, oh, it's a battle. It's a battle. It's a battle, I'm going to say, in my opinion. But you have to have faith the size of a mustard seed, and with that faith, and God, you can do weapons, but not without your relationship with God.
Right.
This church won't grow if we don't have our own relationship with God. Like each and every one of us needs to have our own relationship. I hope we all live with that side of things, add that in there. Nothing's going to happen without God and your relationship with God. Let's take a pause and elaborate a little rock space here, because this is a teaching lesson, so I'm able to do so. And I'm going to do it, so it's powerful. Faith means to have complete trust or confidence in someone or self-made. According to the Oxford, I was this. I got that there are several definitions of how like favorite, and that's the one I'm going to need here. Faith means to have the complete trust or confidence in someone or something. In the Bible, Peter uses his faith that was really small. People say he had a small mustard seed, if you will, to get out of his house and walk hard water to Jesus. He asked it to God. And then when Jesus answered, Peter, being all mature life, had a very lot of the boat, He was the only one to get out of the boat during the storm and start walking on water towards the Jesus. Yes, and then this here, the blues that boat hit. But he cried out to her for help to stay till, and Jesus caught her and led her back to the boat. And by the way, he had enough faith to ask, hey, is this you talking, or am I crazy? And for the, oh, this the team. And then I say did that as like, we're walking in the first, if everything's coming at us, no it's as slow as they'll be easy. And then this troubled waters as you have to get scared and lose your toes. Just how we do sometimes. And then he also had a faith to cry out to God for help. Some of us look down in the face to cry out for you, like, oh, I lost that battle. I lost focus. It's my fault. God's not going to reach me after I did that. But God reached out to him and walked him back to the boat. Still walking on. That's the relationship to us to have faith, even in things that seem insurmountable. And also, more stories are to David realized it. He had made God the full time and he wasn't even as outside of lions when he would expect them to be eaten by the lions because they didn't just throw it there with some nice thin paper pockets. They definitely starved the lions for him to be their food. And yet, he was not even scraps by any of them. We could also look at Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, or Bendigoat, or some people say a belly goat, or what they didn't doubt it, so with golden stacks of the king. If y'all remember the story, they made a golden stacks of the king, they're like, it will carefully get on. But these three did not. And yet they still had faith in God. Inco and everyone around them out. All their brothers, family, they're all vowing. They got thrown into a pit of fire. It's not even that a hair was singed on them. Pennies. And but pennies. They have to do prayers. Beyond. That are just posted that. She has it's I got to the set head. Yes, no, it was still set. That's what's using. That'll listen for. But just to go this hurricane. We gained all of that. The missionary couple who just ended as us. Their work was paid. And it's you. Totally so pure. But, you're they have to have faith. And I could guarantee that at least once they had the faith the size of the mustard seed. They right now their faith has grown. To hear where they started from and where they are now and all the things that are happening over there. People, there's one person in particular said the money like, eat this? It was bloody. Eat that? On the me, die. Amen. In a place where that's not really, like, after you have that faith, be there. Faith the size of a mustard seed is helping their nations grow. But what I'm trying to say, Haydn, is that huge things can happen as the result of very small things. Amen. This church can grow as a result of your faith and diligence. Even your faith is as small as a mustard seed right now, you can still move mountains, and you can surely help the church for it. And tonight, all of this lesson has taught you something, or if they reminded you that I was there on very long times, as I've heard the lesson of the lust of deceit. Tonight, my challenge you all to sow the seed in the wit. And let your friends and family there. And let's grow fruit to Zion cluster trees. And then, Brandon, you isn't this
Lord, the demons, Lord, we pray that we take it apart, Lord, and take it from my head, or that you truly are speaking to us and telling us, giving us the job up to bro, not as this church, Lord, but we're kingdom, Lord, going together as one church, Lord, with people that we're asking for and choose to be with, Lord, our kingdom, Lord, our friends that we see, Lord, around town, Lord, that people we see if they was, Lord. We just want to give a lesson and an example of your life everywhere we go, Lord. Thank you so much for what you are, what you do, and what you play on in this place, Lord. And all this things in your name. And